And then there were four. Our semi-finals are set, and as you can see, our first two clubs, our two giant clubs, are about to face off in semi-final number one. We have Barcelona on one side of the stage, our league winners of the regular season, including reigning MVP, Etorito, not a bad man to start off your knockout stage campaign with. And on the other side, the Bayern contingent. There's no other word for it.
There is no other word for it.
The gang of Bayern shirts up there on the stage. This one has all the elements of producing a contender that could lift that thing at the end of today, Wes. These two clubs are huge. These two sets of players are fantastic. We could not have asked for a better semi-final one.
When you look at the status of the two teams, when you look at the status of the players they have on the field, you have a look at the status of the players on the sticks, this is worthy of any final, let alone a semi, let alone of any knockout game. This would be worthy of a final on any other given season. Of course, of the way that the brackets are broken down, it's now a semi-final, but it's going to be an absolute peach.
That it is, and a man who knows all too well what these two teams are capable of is Roma's Stifler. I want to hear from the man, and luckily we have Semra in the mix zone with the man himself.
Thank you very much for that. Obviously, Stifler would prefer to be speaking to me under very different circumstances after having been eliminated. But now that the dust has settled a little bit, you've had some time to digest the day's results. How do you feel? How is the team taking the elimination from the competition?
We are really sad for this result, but we know it was very difficult against, for me, the strong team in the competition. We'll come back then stronger next year.
Good, that's the spirit, that's what we love to hear. But breaking it down for me a little bit more, specifically your game against Mestre, you talk about such a strong opponent overall as a club, the Germans, but what was it about his gameplay today that made it so difficult for you to come out unscathed, you think?
I think today I play a little bit down because Bayern is a very strong team, but it's impossible today. Next year we come back stronger. Bayern Roma.
Good, good. So we have a new semi-final set up between Barcelona and Bayern Munich. Do you think then, based on what you've seen and what you've experienced, that they are the favourites for today? Or would you say that maybe...
For me, on the pitch, Bayern is the best team, but beat Torito is very difficult.
Okay, well, any final message that you would like to say then as you depart from the competition this season?
Thank you all fan Roma, and see you next year. Sempre Forza Roma.
If you want to say it in Italian, you can say it in Italian as well.
Dai Roma.
Brilliant stuff. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you too, Sandra.
And, you know, overall, congratulations on a brilliant season overall, though. I think you have a lot to feel proud about. And we'll see you very soon.
See you very soon.
Thank you. All right, guys. Well, I imagine that we're getting very close now to seeing game one of this fantastic semi-finals. Both of you pointed out it really is more like a final, isn't it? Comparing it to the real-world football that we saw in the Champions League, for example, this is like a Real Madrid against a Manchester City kind of dynamic, isn't it? Something that really could be worthy of a final clash between such big sides. Well, Harry, Wes, I'll hand it back over to you then as we get ready for what should be some fantastic eFootball.
Well, thank you so much, Semra, as always, getting us where we need to be. Great to hear from Stifler, and something you pointed out while we were listening to Stifler is if there's a man who knows how to beat the MVP, it's him. Stifler. he was the one who ruined the perfect season, 1-0 on match day 7. So always good to hear the insights from Stifler, knows exactly what both of these clubs are capable of, and you can see, first up, it's MVP, Etorito, taking on Mujahid of Bayern.
Yeah, as we said earlier on, abject chaos is about to unfold in both of these semi-finals, let alone European heavyweights. They are European super heavyweights in terms of the stature of all four of the clubs left here. They are European royalty, as Semra pointed out, in terms of the profile of these teams. they're four of the biggest clubs historically and relevant to today's game on the planet in terms of what we are seeing right now between Barcelona and FC Bayern Munich. And I think when we briefly spoke to Alex earlier on, he said he wants to add a star above that badge. Be very interested to see if they can pull that off.
If you're Mucha hit here, you're hoping one of two things is going to happen. One is MVP Eterito has had a month to mull over that loss on match day 7, his only blemish in the season, and is kind of feeling a bit down. That's the one thing you're hoping
or that
for.
He's maybe overcorrected because he's lost. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, and the other thing you're kind of hoping for is, as we said when it came to Roxy, you're just hoping that his controller disconnects or something because the form that Eterito has been in, as we saw the promo package for his MVP season, I think it was 32 goals from 41 shots. It's an incredible strike rate for somebody within this competition.
Of course, the one thing you won't want to look at if you're Mucha hit is Eterito's match day 1 through 6 form, because it is all green, all wins, maximum points up until the final match day is the reason we've crowned the Italian MVP. But of course, Mucha hit did a fantastic job earlier in the day winning his knockout stage game, so he already has a knockout stage win to his name, which is more than we can say for the MVP this season.
Very much stole it at the very, very last moment. Stole it with that last second opportunity from Tell. And as you quite rightly said, now has the experience of already being on the stage today. And there is that argument about hot hands and cold hands and about being on the console early. There's only so much you can do in the practice room. There's only so much you can do to prepare. It's when the lights are the brightest and the pressure is at its most is where diamonds are made. And we'll be seeing today which side of the fence does it fall on. Is it the Catalan side or is it the Bavarian side that have the diamonds in their weaponry?
Bottom of the screen, you just saw how you can stay up to date with all of the goings on, everything eFootball. For now though, our eyes are trained on one screen and one screen only. It's this one, the semi-finals of the eFootball Championship Pro 2023 season are moments away. As you said, pressure makes diamonds. The lights are as bright as you like, and we will see who will thrive. Will it be Barca? Will it be Bayern? Time will tell. It's Eterito up first, and it's Mucha hit in his way.
Yeah, of course, today will be the first time today we'll have seen Barcelona. We know the players that they have at their disposal. You're looking for your Lewandowski, your Dembele, your players that they can do damage with. You already really know where this ball's going to go. If you're a Bayern Munich fan, you're going to be looking to Mane, you're going to be looking to Tell as your two real outlets for attacking prowess.
Cancelo with a hopeful header there in the opening 5. We haven't really had a chance thus far, Wes, to talk about the psychology of a best-of-3 format, and we might have to wait a little bit longer as Dembele trying to prowl forward there for the MVP. It's who you put out first, who you put out second in this best-of-3. We came to a bit of a consensus. You don't want to leave your best player until last because there's a chance he might not even get to play.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can't... Not to say that the two players that we're seeing from each of these sides are, in inverted commas, the best players that they have. But you can't leave... For example, you couldn't leave Ettore to last because you can't gamble on the fact that he'll end up getting a game. You have to put your best foot forward.
Opening 15 or so has been fairly even between Eterito and Mucha hits. The Italian against the Turk here on the stage. Barca, regular season winners. However, it was not really thanks to their performance on match day 7. They needed other teams to do them favours, namely Manchester United and AC Milan when they took down their potential title rivals. Long ball to Mane here, he'll get there first, and it's just beyond tell. A ripple of applause from the crowd. They enjoyed the invention and the idea there.
Yeah, absolutely, and it was just for a lack of execution. Do we not see a one-goal lead here? But here's Lewandowski to Dembele to Gavi. Here's Kessie.
Yeah, Kessie far side. Inside now to Dembele. Nice footwork, but Goretzka snuffs it out. Just have to wonder if Mucha hits poke the bear here as Eserito is starting to go through those gears. Defensively though, does a good job. Cancelo, nice switch of the play there. Gnabry turns inside. Too many opposition players to try and sneak a strike away. He tried it nonetheless. And now Pedri, nice double touch. Kessie. Lewandowski stumbles but retains possession. It's pretty messy at the back, but it'll do for Bayern.
It's a rare one, seeing the goalkeeper getting fouled.
Back on his feet now and in position, so no chance for a long strike as we saw earlier on. Oh, that's a lovely threaded ball here to Mane through 1-on-1, and that's
Big
a
save.
fabulous save from ter Stegen. Push round the corner for a corner.
It's a big manual save that was in there. Again, just a momentary move from Eserito. Pushes it out wide for a corner. That is the first real chance in anger that we have seen from either one of these two teams.
Bayern corner, oh, rattles itself off the woodwork. Tell with the knockdown. But the MVP defends well until he gives the ball away. Just gotten pretty scrappy here. We'll say though, not been too many stoppages. This first half has flowed fairly freely.
Looking at the way that both teams are playing here, they're looking to almost cut out midfield. They're looking to deliver the ball in between the lines, get it into, as we've seen there, a Lewandowski, and knock it down and start to play in triangles and not allow that midfield to catch up.
Mane just waiting for some movement. Good patience from him, and now Tell has a couple of white shirts to aim for here. Inside of Christensen, the referee unmoved.
Great ball movement.
Mane over towards Gnabry with the header. Cancelo! Oh, still alive! Finally
Chaos.
cleared off the line.
Back of ter Stegen's head saved Barcelona there, and now they're on the break here. Lewandowski, here's Kessie.
Here comes Robert Lewandowski. He's dispossessed though before he can get a touch on that ball. 1 minute added on. The MVP was on the ropes there for a second. But the second win was coming towards him, but I think that will be the end of the first half here. Mucha hit nil, Eserito nil in a very entertaining first half.
It's probably the best 0-0 half of eFootball we have seen in the entire competition. It had absolutely everything, just didn't have a goal.
Second half is now underway. If you're just joining us, this is a best of 3 series. Points, goal difference, none of it matters now. We need winners from each of these games. Win 2 and go through. Which of course means extra time and penalties if needed. We've seen them be necessary once or twice today. Bayern starting to gallop forward. Of course, they had that real strong chance that was cleared off the line. Kessie, Dembele, Lewandowski. Back to Dembele, and this is where Etorito does his best work with plenty of shirts forward, but just cannot seem to break through Mujahid's defensive work.
Just waiting for the opportunity.
Nice
though.
1-2 here to Lewandowski! And it's the MVP striking first. Etorito introduces himself to this semi-final. Barca 1, Bayern 0.
It's like having a great white shark in a number 9 shirt for Barcelona. Wonderful bit of play. Again, patience we saw from Etorito there. Finds the opportunity, gets the give and go. Lewandowski with that first time strike. No one stops them from inside 18. He is the striker supreme. He is the apex predator of the eFootball Championship Pro. Is that Robert Lewandowski card? And he finds the back of the net. And he knows how important that is.
No emotions from him all season, because he's been dreaming of this day. Match days 1 through 7 don't matter to him as long as he gets to this point. Has defensive duties to commence, but passes that test with flying colours. But now we'll see the emotion from Ettore, and he's coming forward again. Lewandowski versus De Ligt, and Sola with a good clearance. Approaching the hour mark.
As big game hunter as he is, he's the biggest hunter of all, is Etorito. When he gets going, he gets into that mode. Just get out of the way. Just get out of the way and stay out of the way, because he's a wrecking ball.
And defensively, Mujahid was holding strong till that point, but it's when he goes through these gears, Etorito, he's most dangerous as Pedri! Doubles the lead! And that garners applause from around the league. The king is back this season. And Barca 2-0 up. And in control.
Showing exactly why he's the league MVP. Again, really good footwork. And you said up until that point, Mujahid's defence has been resilient up until the goal. And now all of a sudden it feels like it's got the consistency of a wet paper towel. He's just drove the ball in there. Pedri's got the wrong side of the defender, has not let the ball go out. And crucially, he's got the strike off. And he knows how important it is for Barcelona to get off and running here. That's right, smiles from the Bayern Munich camp. But
yeah, you said it. I was about to point that out myself, because they know when the MVP gets into these situations and gets into these moods, there is very, very few players in the world that can stop him scoring goals.
Just exerts his will on the game, does Etorito. When he wants to, when he's up for it, and when he wants to go ahead and he wants to take the game by the scruff of the neck, he has that ability to. We've seen it in co-op before. We've seen it in 1v1 time and time again from Etorito. Of course, as you Mujahid now, you're trying to salvage something from the depths.
Of course, the game not over yet, but we have to admire the brilliance of Etorito when it's on display. Something tells me he came into this season with a bit of a chip on his shoulder, took a year out, probably not enforced, probably by choice. Comes back, wins MVP, wants to win it all, is often compared with Usman Abil about who's the greatest of all time, who's the greatest player in the game. Usman Abil, unfortunately not qualifying for the knockout stages, gives Etorito a perfect opportunity to say, I'm him, I'm still here.
Whether they like it or not, those two will forever be compared, and it will always be a conversation. It will be the hero and the villain. It will be, you know, the nemesis and the superhero. They will always and forever be compared because of that level. There is those two, and then there's everybody else in my head. That's me personally. It's them two, and it's everybody else afterwards. And these types of performances, this type of leading mentality that we're seeing from him, it just goes to show it again and again and again.
We're underway following the second goal. Barca 2, Bayern 0. After that note on Eterito, it's worth reminding everyone, Mujahid still in the lobby here, still out there on the pitch and could still play spoiler.
Still plenty of time on the clock, but again, as we've seen from Eterito in the past, the ability to close out games, it's really his forte when he wants to.
It's a tall order for sure. Pedri, nice work inside. Eterito has a few shirts to aim for, one of them Dembele. Lewandowski!
Didn't even need a reaction that time. Even he knew how good that was. He didn't need it. He knows.
I don't know what to say. Sumptuous, sublime eFootball. It's a 3v2 at the back, sure, but you still have work to do. But he makes it look so easy.
It's the arrogance of a man who's at the peak of his powers. That's what it is. It's you'll see there. Even he knows. He doesn't need the third, get up and scream. He knows. He knows the ability that he's got at his disposal and at his fingertips.
Barca 3, Bayern 0. And honestly, if it's your first time watching Mujahid play, it's not a fair representation of his skill level because Torre really is just that good. And the celebrations, because Barca, as it stands, 1 foot in that final. Koeman, though, to the byline. Chance for one back, and Gnabry closed down before he has a chance.
He has the fundamental ability to make superstars look ordinary. That's the level we're looking at with Eterito. He can make the most brilliant of players look completely ordinary when he wants to. I think that's what he's done here.
Defensively there with Pavard to snatch possession back and stop that attack. And they're starting to build now and have some joy down this right-hand side with Gnabry, Christensen and Eterito, not to be outdone. It's a 3-on-3 at the back again, and Dembele's joining the hunt now as well. Pedri. Back to Dembele, but the pass just had a little bit too much fizz on it for him to control. Kimmich looking for Tell, but again, it's Eterito controlling the game. In the final 10. And this one now just a formality, Wes.
Yeah, it looks like there's not going to be enough time here. I know that there's 7 minutes and it only takes a second to score a goal, but Torre's in possession. He's pushing it down the line. And you've got to think that is surely going to be all she wrote for this game. And as we said, it will put Barcelona on the hill here. Potentially setting themselves up for a match point decider in game 2 of this tie.
Koeman inside. Back to him now. It will be a Bayern corner in the 89th minute.
Interestingly enough as well, when you think about it, as we'll see the ball get cleared away there, Mujahid was in his post-match said, yep, we can get 2-0 done here, be good job. That's all we need. He's kind of forgotten that he's up against Barcelona and up against some of the very best.
Pedri to Kessie. The MVP wants the cherry on the cake here in game 1. Nice footwork there as well as Dembele was waiting gratefully. Still one last chance here for Barca, is there? The referee says no, and game 1 ends Barca 3, Bayern 0. It's a dream start for our league leaders. Barcelona for Bayern. They need to win the next two against the Barca team in red-hot form.
Yeah, you felt the minute he got his nose in front, Etorito wasn't going to be anybody else's day but his in this game. And as we said, he has the power to just make players look ordinary by comparison. And as such, you could sense that those first two celebrations, that's a statement, just to take the air out of the sails that were in Bayern after they had come through against Roma earlier on. He said that just sucker punch completely took the momentum away from them.
I mean, what else do you say about that performance? It's difficult to find the adjectives, and some people at home might think we're overselling Etorito a little bit, but if you actually go back and look at his accomplishments, not only his accolades, but also the way he's done it, you can't oversell it. You can't. And you're just witnessing greatness before our very eyes in game one. And I do feel for Mujahid, because when you're both on the stage, you enter as equals, but in the end, you exit as quite an overshadowed figure.
Now this has narrative, needle, every bit of emotion, every type of storyline in it that you could possibly ask for between these two on the stage.
The two men in question are Alex Alguacil, a second stint at Barcelona this season. Has been fairly fruitful for him. Only one loss to his name this season, otherwise undefeated. And on the other side, it's Captain Jose. Of course, another one who, if you take away that default loss back on match day 5 due to an infringement of the rules, also only one loss to his name. So this one, not only are they two Spaniards, teammates on the national team a few years ago,
former teammates in Bayern as well. It's almost like it's like they're rivals, then they're teammates, they're rivals, they're teammates. It's just this back and forth between, okay, which do we want to be? Do you want to be rivals or do you want to be teammates? Which one do you want? And as it stands at the moment, they are now back to being domestic rivals. And certainly, if we remember and cast our minds back to the regular league game, it was Alex Alguacil versus Mestre in that very tense 1-0 victory. And a couple of pointy comments maybe in the post-match mix zone from Alex, where I think that, you know, the team talk for Barcelona on that day had been done for them, in the sense of, oh, well, you know, Torre's really good and Barcelona are good, and that was it. And they completely kind of discounted Alex and the Palma, and I think sometimes that, like I said, you can kind of give your opponent the ammunition before you even get going.
It's maybe downplayed in public, but you have to feel there's at least a little bit of a chip on Alex's shoulder after finding himself without a home, to put it nicely, before the season started. Barcelona came along and said, listen, we're building something with a player, you might have heard of him.
Yeah, you might remember him. You were really good in co-op.
Back in the day, what's his name again? Etorito, yeah. Do you want to join? And Alex obviously found himself fitting right in throughout the season on this Barca team. The question is whether or not he'll have enough knowledge on Jose and Bayern from his time there to best his adversary here. If he does, then Barca will be our first finalists, no doubt.
Well, just keep your eyes peeled for, as we can hear the dulcet tones of other commentary coming through our ears. But will we keep your eyes peeled on the reactions from these two players? Because I would imagine that'll be red hot. As we'll try and talk over Peter Drury.
I do love Peter Drury, one of my favourite commentators, so I personally don't mind it. Maybe we should shut up and let Peter take it away. But for now, we are underway. Game 2, semi-final 1, and it's Bayern. Starting out strongly, Sane inside the box, trying to wriggle free of the defender. Back to goal, though, not really a chance to get one across. He beats his man, and Musiala draws first blood. Jose in the lead, Bayern That is exactly what they wanted. Do not adjust your sets. It is Bayern 1, Barca 0. And that sets up this competition perfectly as Musiala tucks away the finish.
Yeah, it's a really good finish in truth. And again, it's good work in there from Leroy Sané. Just popped home. And as I said, be careful of the reactions. They will come. Yep, you can see there, even I can lip read that in English of, okay. Yeah, Alex knows.
He always knew he'd be in for a game here against his former captain. And it is 1-0 to Bayern. First we're seeing of Jose today, of course. Sadly, Peter Drury has gone away, so you're stuck with us for now.
Sorry, guys.
Far side. Barca looking to reply as Alex with that header. Testing the goal. Something tells me this one's going to be end-to-end. Long ball to tell. Has he stayed on side? I do wonder. Linesman says yes, and shrug past the defender. Lovely stop and go.
Good
Double
move.
touch as well. Second bite at the cherry, maybe. Finally cleared away by Alex, and Barcelona, well, they don't have too much time to rest on their laurels here because Musiala's starting to advance. Mane has been lively for Bayern today. Oh, and he's tackled just outside the box there. Won't be a penalty, but will be a free kick in a difficult position.
Yeah, Jose's come out like a man on fire and a man on a mission to salvage Bayern Munich's latter stage knockout season.
Here is the free kick with Kimmich, and Upamecano's following it. The referee points towards the corner. This one could have gone anywhere.
I think it might have just slightly deflected off the wall there on the intake, and I think that might just caused a bit of problems for everybody. Sané on the corner.
Be the in-swinger, but swung in too close to the byline there, as will be a let-off for Barca. Out to Mane, that's a nice dummy. Defended well. That's Barcelona.
Kessie long ball.
Can start to come forward themselves.
It's De Jong and Pedri combining.
It's really nice footwork. I think Gavi was the player best positioned there, but Upamecano is the one carrying it away. Always worrying when Tell's giving chase. Time to no avail though.
A real opportunity there for Jose to make a bit more of a problem for Alex than what he's seen there, and Alex has had to rush that out. It's gone out for a throw.
Looks like just a pause in the action as Alex has decided to just tweak a couple of formations as well. But with 20 minutes gone, there or thereabouts, Wes, it's advantage Bayern, obviously. They need to win game 2 in this best-of-3 series. Alex will always fancy himself, as I put my teeth back in this type of position, because he's always on the shoulder of Jose with only one goal down.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's one goal is a really delicate lead here. It's a really delicate lead. It's a really delicate lead. It's not something you can hold on for, especially in knockout football. You don't want to be in that position.
Away again then. Bayern 1, Barca 0. Christensen defending, but you can see Alex this season, no problem scoring goals. Inside the top 10 with 13. He's going to need some of that goal scoring prowess here against Jose, who is all the way down there, almost outside the top 20 in truth. But it's the points he's accrued along the way that's helped Bayern get to this stage. And he has an attack here with Kimmich as well. Blocked at the first port of call though.
Well, that's what we've said. We've said in terms of Bayern Munich and their goal-scoring capabilities, it may not necessarily be at the fore, but it's been effective. It has been effective in terms of how they have distributed those goals and how they've made sure that they've accrued a lot of points along the way. As long as they are in a goal scene with
Musiala still alive here as well. Kimmich with the stunning strike, out for a corner.
But so long as they are getting results along the way, it won't matter how many goals they've scored. They won't be remembered for how many goals they've scored if they go and win the trophy at the end of today. They'll just be known as champions.
Well, it will be a corner thanks to the foot of Ter Stegen there. And I think you're right in saying it, Wes. The return on investment from Bayern's goals has been on the money this season. Nothing too flashy, but plenty of points.
As long as it stays 1-0, it'll actually benefit Barcelona here.
Absolutely, 10 minutes to go until half-time. Plus stoppages, of course. A little scrappy here as the ball finally settles down. Now for Jose. Up against his former teammate. It's got the better of him thus far, but has to maintain it throughout the 90. Tell there. Fouled, and the referee will pull this one back for a free kick, allows Barca to get men behind the ball, and they do just that as Lewandowski sees the run of Dembele. Barca members are arriving, but Dembele might just have to stop up here as he waits for them. It was De Jong there. Just denied his opportunity, but we're in stoppage time now of this first half. Perfect time to score a goal. Busquets. Couldn't get anything through that Bayern defensive midfield, and the first half will end Bayern 1, Barca 0. An intriguing affair in that first half, Wes, but Bayern the happier of the two.
Yeah, you could cut the tension with a knife here. You really could. I know that we speak a lot about the atmosphere that is here, but every single eyeball in this building is on this game in terms of how tense it is, because the margins for error are so slight, and the prize that is on the line here is so valuable that it really, it's so tight, it's so delicately poised here, especially with it only being 1-0.
Well, you can see at half-time break, Alex just wanting to check with their Torito and, of course, De Palma. Check on their advice, see what they would do in this situation. That's the benefit, of course, of having your teammates up there. We've said it once or twice, Wes, but you've got 5 Bayern shirts up there on the stage. There's plenty of minds to put together, we'll put it that way, to try and come to a resolution should they need it.
There's plenty of minds there. There's only one person that's in control of the sticks, so as much as you get intel, as much as you get ideas, it only really matters about what you're doing. It's great to have those minds up there, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Second half underway then, game 2. Bayern Munich 1, Barca 0. And Tell is coming forward. Christensen defends well. Remember, Bayern need to win this game to force a game number 3. So far, so good from the captain. De Jong, Lewandowski. Just the pressure comes so early from Bayern, but Lewandowski's nodded it down, and oh no!
Momentum's taking him in.
It's a big mistake at the back from Bayern. But where the ball was placed from Alex, there's not much the defence could do.
I don't think there's anything Jose could have done there. Momentum takes him in. He's not able to get a touch on the ball, and as a result, runs it into the net. There's not a lot he can do. I'm sure if you watch it back on playback, you'll see it again here. It's nodded across. Every bit of that is intentional. But you can see there, it's just that extra heavy touch. You can see his teammates doing his celebration for him. I don't think they need to say any more there. And right look across there from Jose across the stage. I think he knows that there's a good bit of fortune in that.
Well, the MVP like that one, because it means Barca now level here in game 2. A game which, if they win, they will be through to the final. If we're level after 90 minutes, we will go to extra time and penalties if they're required. Busquets to Pedri. Lewandowski with the touch, and Dembele! Just like that! From 1-0 down, it's the 1-2 punch. Barca in the lead now.
It's a great bit of play. Again, benefits of a slight bit of luck. But as we said, it's in these moments where you need to capitalise. We'll see it again here. It's just from this moment here. Just not cleared enough correctly. Pedri gets it. A lead bit of footwork from Lewandowski. It's awesome at Dembele. He fires that home for 2-1. It's his advantage. Alex Alguacil.
I wondered, Wes, if we wouldn't see a celebration out of respect to his former club. No love lost there.
Oh, I think they know. They know how important that goal is. 60 minutes on the clock here. There's still plenty of time here. I think if you're Bayern, you'll be looking at that and saying, hey, if Alex can score 2 in a couple of minutes, so can we. It's all about momentum, it's all about pressure, and it's all about emotion here in the eFootball Championship Pro. It's about keeping your head.
Barca 2, Bayern 1. Bayern coming forward now though, Musiala, scorer of the first goal for them. The only goal for them thus far. It's a huge 5 in-game minutes there for Alex Alguacil, from 1-0 down, wondering how you're going to get back in the game, to now leading it. He has a lead to defend now. Musiala tackled by Koundé. Bayern corner after this pause.
Every positive piece of play being applauded in the VIP zone. I mean, as we said, we are in Barcelona. You would expect the Barcelona support to be a little bit more ferocious than any other support that's here.
Well, it's a difficult environment to step into, not only because of the heat at this time of year, Wes, but also because it's not like a regular season match day where teams are practicing in the training room, the players are preparing for their own matches. We have clubs now knocked out and done for the season that are sat here purely as spectators, and that just piles on the pressure for these two clubs here in this semi-final.
Absolutely, and as much as we say this, you know, we said before in terms of rivalries, in terms of, you know, personal rivalries between players, the reality is that when the consoles are off and they're off away from the tunnel, they're off away from the stage, a lot of these teams are actually pals. They have almost communal dinners with them. You know, so I think, you know, looking at it, there'll be people who will just want the best for almost their friends. They will want the best of it. If it's not going to be them, they want it to be their friends that will go on and win.
Well, you can see that tweaks
Substitution on the field.
done and dusted
Number
now.
44.
We
Number
resume with a
42.
Bayern corner.
Number 10.
Taken quite quickly as well towards Meccano.
Coming on the field.
Kimmich is onside here, and he's lofted it up to Mane. Oh, great
what a
save. Huge save.
Number 11.
Ter Stegen called into action.
Kingsley Coman.
And with 20 minutes to go, how important might that save be?
Substitution.
Looked like the counter was on, but the ball just behind Lewandowski, but Koundé takes it in stride. That counter can now resume.
Made Pavard think a little bit there, did Alex Alguacil.
15 in game to go. Busquets. Lewandowski just controlling possession now for Alex, trying to turn the screw. Busquets. Pedri, Lewandowski. Pavard is there first. 10 in-game minutes to hold on for Barca. 10 in-game to break through if you're Bayern. Otherwise, your season is done. Koeman, Tell just lacking in positioning there. Couldn't quite get to the ball. Koeman, Cancelo, Koundé away. Just about 5 in-game minutes to hold on, but Kimmich has won the ball high up. Koundé across. That's Koundé still to beat here. And the referee has said that will be a free kick.
Big kick, big opportunity here for Bayern Munich if they can just get the right delivery in here. This is a big moment in the game.
It's just fascinating while we watch the in-game tweaks happen from both sides to see the body language. We had Jay Victor in the back of the Bayern contingent, hands on the back of his neck, almost on the back of his head. You have Mestre leaning forward, wanting to see exactly what Jose's doing, trying to chime in with thoughts. And
Got to wonder as well, with questions about team selection, in terms of, was it, you know, in terms of having Jay Victor here, would it not have been a smarter a smarter kind of tactic to maybe employ him in a game that's a little bit of a pressure game, but there's a lot less game film on Jay Victor than there is on Jose, there is on Mestre, or there is on Muka here.
it's definitely interesting when you look at the different permutations of Bayern that could be sent out. Jay Victor, of course, featuring on match day 2, has yet to feature in the competition since then. Was standing in the place of Mujahid, who unfortunately couldn't travel all the way back in late February, March, I want to say, match day 2.
Yeah, it's a while ago. As much as we say it's a while ago, it still feels like yesterday when that was happening. It's quite an incredible feat to be at the tail end of this season.
On the field,
This could be
number 8.
a very, very important passage of play if you are Bayern Munich.
Coming on to replace
Bayern
him
free
is
kick. They trail 2 goals to 1. It's taken. It's De Ligt!
What a free kick. What a free kick. What a free kick that was.
And you can see the emotion from the Bayern bench. It's an equaliser. As close to the 90th minute as you would perhaps want at this stage of the competition.
6 minutes is number 4.
Perfectly delivered.
Expertly dispatched as well by Matthias de Ligt. It's a brilliant ball into the box from Joshua Kimmich. Thunderbolt header. And from that distance, with that power, it is not going to be going anywhere but in the back of a Barcelona net. You see the shake of the head of Veterito. What I will say is, though, animated celebrations. If it's good for you, it's good for them.
It's a goal that could have just saved Bayern's season. Had they not scored that, they were on the brink of elimination after losing game 1. Now at 2 goals apiece, they stay alive in the best of 3 here in game 2.
What I would say here is, though, there is still time on the clock, and it's Barcelona's kickoff. So if they can make this work for them, this could be real problems for Bayern. But also the flip side, they can regain that ball. There's still a chance in this for either team. There's got to be one more chance here, somewhere. We shall find out who it falls to.
Just
or whether
under
they'll tuck their chins and go to extra time.
4 in-game minutes plus stoppages here in game 2. It's been a fascinating affair between 2 ex-teammates. Could this be the last throw of the dice in the 90? Jose's goal gives them a chance. Barca, who are just
added minutes has
5
been
in-game
indicated.
minutes away from booking their place in that final, now have 4 in-game to make that ticket certain. Good build up here as Kessie's on near side. Stunning cross. Oh, it's behind for a corner. Still a chance here. What tricks are there to be conjured up? What tricks are there to be conjured up? Something from the training ground, perhaps, as Alex swings it in towards Sergio Busquets. Arujo! Sommer gathers with both hands. And if he's quick about it, we could see one more attack in this game 2. Instead, I think it will come the way of Barca. He's hoofed it up the pitch. It's still alive here. But I think the referee's seen enough now of the first 90 minutes. We are going to extra time.
How delicately poised this game is right now. The tension in the room ratcheted up the minute that Matthias de Ligt latched onto that header. And what is now a very, very valuable timeout. You can see some of the Bayern Munich contingent and the backroom staff just looking at it on for the VIP room. They're shaking their heads, so they're not quite sure what to make of it. For Barcelona, you were 5 in-game minutes away from touching the final. Instead now, you're staring down the barrel of extra time.
Jose will would have been buoyed, of course, by that 85th minute goal, an equaliser that's got us to this position. But it's an important reminder, it's still on a knife edge here for Bayern. You may say, hey, nothing left to lose, but if they lose, they're out of the competition because Bayern hold currently a 0-1 deficit in this best of 3.
Yeah, if you're looking at if you're looking at the complexities of this game, you've got to now say the momentum is with Bayern Munich. They've got their equaliser. Now they've got to. They were already in a position where they were saying, well, we've lost this game, so they had nothing left to lose. Now that they're going into this 30-minute in-game period, they've now still got nothing left to lose, because if they don't score, it can potentially either go to an extra time, either go to penalties, or they're out. It's one or the other. So they can really throw caution to the wind here and say, hey, let's go out on our shield and let's throw a bit at this Barcelona defence and see what they are made of.
Well, for the 3rd time so far in the knockout stages, extra time is required. We've had one knockout stage game in the quarterfinals settled in extra time. We've had one go all the way to penalties. Which will be the fate of this match here, as Tell has latched onto this one after a mistake from the Barca back line. Far side can't beat the Barca defender, and now to the feet of Lewandowski. Ansu Fati to Lewandowski, who's offside, so the play will reset. Extra time, then penalties. It's difficult to call between Jose and Alex because they're so evenly matched.
And they know each other so well. That's not only are they evenly matched, these two will have scrimmaged with each other for Spain. They'll have scrimmaged each other when they were teammates at Bayern. There's going to be so many different level of almost knowledge and intel on each other. That's why we're in this extra time period as it is right now.
We're approaching the end of the first period, the first 15. Nothing really of note. It's gone by quite quickly, but Kessie now tries to pressure Pavard. Final minute of this first period. Kingsley Coman, this will be the final attack of this first half of extra time as Coman is double touching. It's
Can't let him dance down the byline like that. You have to cut him off.
We've seen it happen time and time again this season. You cannot let it happen. And as the first period comes to a close, it's the breakthrough that Bayern wanted. 3-2.
Yeah, really good work, really good play there from Jose again. Just find his way down the byline, but if you're Barcelona, you've got to get out to him. You've got to get out to him. You've got to block it off. And instead, I believe that's through the legs of Araujo. We'll see it again here. Hopefully we'll get a better angle. We will do. It's Coman who squares it into the box here. Right through the legs of the defender. Had to be so precise just to get that, but Jose knows he's still in the game.
The first period of extra time in the books. 15 in-game minutes remain for Alex's Barca to get an equaliser in order for us to see that penalty shootout. Otherwise, we'll be going to a game 3, first time today.
And it's a very, very important game, a very important part of the game as well, because, again, we're talking, well, we can't even say potentially by process of elimination. We can only really say that we definitely know from Barcelona's side, it's the Palmer that will be playing in the tiebreaker, as it were. And we'd have to see who Bayern send out. And that's if we even get to that.
Not a whole lot of conversation happening on the Barca side. You can see the Bayern contingent all wanting to give their 2 cents. The silver lining for Alex is there is still another period of extra time. 15 in-game minutes plus whatever stoppages to get that goal. You can see by the way that Jose's setting up, it's very much the idea to get that midfield as congested as possible in front of that back four.
Yeah, and I suppose the worry for Bayern is that, yes, there is still that period left. There is still that 15-minute period left. It's now going to be a case of how do they consolidate the ball? How do they make sure that they don't let this out? Because as we've seen before already, when teams go to defensive shapes, if the team then equalises who they're playing against, it's very hard to then break out. The only issue, of course, you have here is you're breaking out, and it's not the game. The game isn't over if they equalise. So if you're Barcelona and you grab a third, it's just going to penalties. That's all it's going to. So you may as well
on the field.
throw a little bit of caution to the wind
Number 17.
and see what you can get done here.
Sadio Mane.
Final 15 in-game minutes between Jose and
Coming on the
Alex.
field.
It's a 3-2 lead
Number 38.
for
Number
Bayern.
23.
It's a lead they'll want to defend
Substitutions taking
here.
place.
Headed down towards Ansu Fati. You can see no pressure on the Barcelona defenders. That's to be expected. Jose knows the job here. Fati trying to get his strike away. He's bulldozed off of the ball. And in terms of playing the territory game, that'll do nicely. 10 in-game minutes to go, less than. Otherwise, we are headed to a game number 3. Alex building. Sergi Roberto. Referee plays a good advantage. Fati, Lewandowski's in the mix. 5 in-game remain.
Anywhere will do if you're Bayern. They keep welcoming the pressure back onto them, though.
This is perfect for Bayern because that clock keeps ticking here in extra time. Christensen. Good read from Jose. I think it might just be Fati who gets on the other end of this. Who is this bounced off last? Pavard will get there first. Doesn't want to run the risk of letting it run. And we're in stoppage time now. Last attack as Sangel is almost in. And we are headed to game number 3 in our first semi-final.
Oh, pointed.
Jose's done the business. And now we wait and see who the Palmer's opponent will be. Some last-minute words from the MVP. Do not miss this next 90 minutes of eFootball. Because this is everything for these two clubs.
This is so close that this game was in terms of how quickly he took off at the start of the game. We'll see here, accompanied by Peter Drury's commentary there.
Feels like a lifetime ago.
It was a lifetime ago. It feels like it. It was a fantastic finish to open the scoring. And then Barcelona got their foothold back in, and Barcelona started to play well. And then it was one set piece that undid it all. As we see that slight bit of luck there. Okay, you can see the power bar there. Jose had done everything he could to try and clear that football.
Of course, that was the equaliser, and then following that, we saw this that set Barcelona in the driver's seat around about the hour mark, had 30 minutes to hang on to it, possibly add more. But in the end, it took extra time to split the two after this Delict header.
Great header.
A bullet header. I hate when people use the commentary line, put as many keepers as you want in there, they won't save it because...
It's a cannonball is what that was. It wasn't a bullet, it was a cannonball.
It was an absolute cannonball. And what better way to separate these two clubs than a game number 3, Wace? Game 3.
Game 3. We'll find out shortly who the Palmer has aligned and waiting for him. It was Tell in extra time that was the difference maker. And interestingly, you can see Jay Victor really getting amongst it to say, look, you guys can do this.
Well, the options, of course, are either Jay Victor, who hasn't yet featured today, or Mestre, who put in a blinding performance earlier on. 5-1, I believe it was. And it's the Palmer to step up for Barcelona.
It is Mestre in the hot seat for Bayern Munich.
So we trade one set of Spaniards on the stage for another. 2 more players that will be very familiar with themselves and with each other. And we always say about the Palmer, we're just waiting for him to come to the boil. Now is the time to do so. Of course, you can keep up to date with eFootball. Why wouldn't you after this incredible knockout stage thus far with all the links on the bottom of your screen? But importantly, Wes, for Bayern fans at home, the Palmer is coming off a 3-loss streak. 3 losses on the bounce. Hasn't won since match day 4. It's a long time ago.
We say a lot about momentum, and mentioning that as a stat, you're coming off a 3-game loss streak into you now being cold on the console, whereas as we saw earlier, it was 5-1 for Mestre. And that in itself would say that, if we had the stats up of the, where do we think the fandom is going to be here, you'd probably say overwhelmingly they'd actually be saying that Bayern Munich should be taking this. But as we know, knockout football, we know the Palmer has it in the locker to undo even the best of players on his day. We just have to know whether today is that day.
The Palmer looks a little bit pensive up there. Wonder what's going through his mind right now. Of course, there's another player that's been in this position several times before, throughout the former PES League days, now throughout this competition as well. Mestre on the other side was smiling, looking pretty relaxed. He relishes this type of opportunity, of course. You think back to last year, Mestre's incredible game with his Maccabi in the final. I think it ended 5-4, 4-3, something like that.
I remember vividly in terms of it was
in that competition.
Yeah, there was no giving either one of those two on that day. And certainly Mestre will know that he was in the game there. And they're also exacted a little bit of revenge earlier in the season. And has really kind of grown into that role. Really has grown into that role between the two of them. As you can see on your screens there, you can see what this will mean. And it's that obviously the winner of this game, if you have just joined us or if you are just catching up, the winner of this game will go on and will play either Manchester United or AC Milan in the grand final of the eFootball Championship Pro.
Best of 3s here in the knockout stages. We're in the semi-final round. Barcelona got to this point thanks to a bye. Due to them winning the regular season, they finished top of the tree. On the other side, Bayern had to go through the, I say, gauntlet of AS Roma. Roma gave it a good go, but in the end, Bayern were able to just outclass them to find themselves in the semi-finals in 2-0 fashion. This was the game we all wanted to see. we're going to see one more game of it, Wes. It's going to be a game 3 between these two. As nervy as you like, if anything you've seen today is anything to go by, you know these two men on the stage are going to give it absolutely everything. And we're going to see some incredible action here.
Yeah, absolutely. If anything, this is to go by, it's quite literally on a knife edge. Right here, right now, it is now or never for either one of these two teams. Barcelona have been brilliant through the regular season. Well, this isn't the regular season anymore. This is win or go home territory.
Well, as you can see, we are moments away from kickoff. The eFootball Championship Pro 2023 is about to find out its first finalist. Is it going to be Barcelona or will it be Bayern? It all rests on this one game. Game 3 is now underway. Extra time and penalties if we need them. You know the drill by this point. It's the Palma versus Mestre. Here we go. Starting off, Barcelona attacking left to right. And the Palma, we said, he's hit a sticky bit of form. Has had a month to work on different tactics maybe, but Bayern are a difficult beast to come up against with the likes of Tel, Musiala, of course, off the ball, Sane. You've got Mane as well. Some very, very key pieces of that puzzle. It can be difficult to figure out exactly which man to mark at whichever moment. As Sane now, long ball looking for Tel. Cleared away by the Palma. Bayern building again. Mestre, long ball looking for Tel. It's that same almost crossfield ball into the box. Cause a little bit of chaos. Sane from downtown.
Going for the
He's
early
won
shot.
himself a corner here.
Going for the early shot. You got to. With games like this, you have to establish that you are willing to do anything. You're willing to try anything. And yes, okay, that hits a defender. It goes out for a corner. What that does is, though, it implants an idea in the Palmer's head to say, yep, actually, I fancy doing anything here. You've got to unseat your defender.
Musiala has risen highest and off the woodwork. Sorry to cut you off there, Wes, but this one was a towering header.
Yeah, you don't quite expect it from Jamal Musiala. So you've been forgiven for cutting me off as I thought, there's no way that's going to go on goal. It's Musiala. But no, hits the bar. First real opportunity.
It's a very good point you raise. It's telling the Palmer needs to consider every possibility. eFootball turned poker at this point here in game 3. Busquets heads it down. Dembele gets there ahead of the on-rushing defender, but Meccano back on defensive covering. Dembele here on this right-hand side. Oh, neat little trick there, and skips past the defender. Bayern defence don't know which way the Palmer wants to go.
I don't think the Palmer did either.
And it's sprung now, a Bayern counter. They're lethal with these. Kimmich to Sane is the 1-2 there. Not this time. Goretzka. Oh, that's a mistake to Kimmich. Back heel to Tel, and Sane from downtown! Magnificent from Mestre. And it's Bayern 1, Barca 0.
It's those finest of margins. The eagle-eyed among us. You'll have seen the Palmer just edged his goalkeeper out. And they took hold of that goal there. You'll see it just moved out just a moment, just trying to cover the controlled strike into the corner instead. You've always got to keep your near post covered if you're a goalkeeper. You see it again here, just one small step, that takes it away. Brilliant strike there. Mestre knows. Oh, yeah, Mestre knows.
One 0 to Bayern.
What a big goal that could be in the complexion of this tie.
Oh, and there's a mix-up at the back. Almost costing the Palmer very dearly, but that's a good spot, and arguably it all comes from that seed that Mestre planted early on with that shot from Sane. He's coming forward again. Here is the man across the face of goal, but cleared away gratefully by the Barca defence. Falls to the feet of Pedri. De Jong just covered. And Mestre just smells blood in the water.
What a confidence builder this would be for Bayern if they were to knock off the regular league winners.
You saw there, you'd have to scroll down as far as 20th in our league scorers table to find the Palmer, and for a team that's finished first in the regular season, that's quite the anomaly. Bayern going in search of their second. Sane. Kimmich rises, and thank goodness for Balde, otherwise could have been yet another attack for Bayern. It will still come back at them here.
It's almost too predictable.
Seem to take care of the ball, as you say. Sane far side. Kimmich towards the byline, looking for Musiala. That one's cleared away. Good interception now. What can this counter bring? Nothing but Kimmich pressure.
Habrá un minuto de descuento.
1 minute added on here at the end of this first half. De Jong snuffed out by Stanisic, and the referee, I think, has seen enough here in the first half, unless there's a chance here for Pedri. To the feet of Lewandowski. Gavi arriving, but Upamecano away. And the first half predictable. Finishes Bayern 1, Barcelona 0.
It's too easy to read the Palmer at the moment. Mestre has an answer for absolutely everything. And yes, it is only 1-0, but critically, no shots on goal from the Palmer. It's too easy to read when he's in transition with the ball. He's got to do something better than what he's conjuring up right now.
Not much to write home about, and as things stand, the MVP season coming to a premature end. Magnificent from Mestre. Going back over that goal to read and anticipate the goalkeeper movement from the manual goalkeeping. Expertly done, a real veteran move, and the gamble paid off, as thanks to that move, Bayern will kick off the second half with a 0-0 lead to defend for the remaining 45. We need to see the Palmer turn up in this second half. There's no ifs, no buts, no coconuts, because otherwise... Oh, Mane's through! Bayern 2, Barca 0! Game 3 is slipping away from the league leaders. And this move, magnificent. It's magic, Mestre. And Bayern keep the dream alive.
Sometimes the most simplest of ways to score and perhaps the most effective. It's route one. And the job may just be done.
Well, we're underway following the goal. We saw some of the reactions. Mestre unfazed by the Barcelona support here.
I think pointedly it may be saying you can have the MVP, but we might be walking away with this title today.
Nice move from Gavi. Shackles have to be off now for the Palmer. Lewandowski knocks it past to the byline. Back to Pedri. De Ligt with the steal. Frankie de Jong. Dembele, has it gone too soon? The linesman says yes, and what looked like a promising chance for Barca is now turned back over.
Yeah, it's played, this whole tie has just played right into the hands of Bayern Munich.
Pedri to Gavi. This is better from the Palmer, but at this point on the hour mark, need to see more of that. All of a sudden, the line seemed to have opened up for him. Dembele, which way is he going to go? Frankie de Jong, dispossessed by De Ligt.
Running into cul-de-sacs is the Palmer at the moment. Just not finding an avenue. Make his way forward. That's a useful ball though.
Gavi with the 1-2, and Pedri's entering the box now, but Stanisic is there. Still alive for Barca though, as he goes for goal. Sommer saves. Pedri's still alive, but probably going to go Bayern's way. But Barca steal it back here. Gavi on the turn. Pedri almost breaking. Good spell of pressure here from the Palmer, but Mane cools things down. "20 in-game minutes now. As we finally take a pause, take a breathe, in what was a frenetic 10 in-game minutes there for the Palmer, but resulted in no goals.
It's quite unbelievable in terms of the opportunities that were there. It was just for the odd tackle here and there from Bayern that just made them not be as clear-cut of an opportunity as they needed to be for Barcelona. And you've got to say that Bayern in the driver's seat here with 20 in-game minutes to go here, plus stoppage time. They are on the hill, and they could be having one foot in the final, despite being one game down. Their powers of recovery have been called into question, and they have certainly found the answers that they needed here.
Cambio de jugadores en el Barcelona. El dorsal 30. El dorsal 21.
Play resumes with this throw-in. Situation remains the same. Bayern 2, Barca 0.
Se va a llevar a cabo un cambio de jugadores.
Barcelona's season rests on the shoulders of the Palmer.
At what point do you game kill if you're Bayern?
Ansu Fati back to his teammate now. Pedri. Ansu Fati! Oh, just wouldn't bounce back towards Lewandowski. The chances are there for the Palmer, just needs to take a couple of them. Mestre can't seem to keep a hold of possession. He's almost intercepted there again. Koeman past his man, and Mestre straight for the corner.
Lightning quick is Kingsley Coman.
Koeman to the byline, we've seen this one before. 10 minutes remain. 10 minutes separating Bayern from the final. That's an offside though. Possession will swap over. And in the most unlikely fashion, having to play through the quarter-finals. Bayern look primed and ready to battle for that trophy later on.
Strength in numbers certainly appears to have been at play here today.
Absolutely, just thinking about the strength and depth of Bayern. All three of their contingent able to pick up points along the way. You look at Barcelona, clear tactic for them. Send out the two informed players out first, Eterito and Alex, and try and close it out in two. It's not been the case, and they find themselves in their position right now where they have less than 10 minutes to find 2 goals just to force extra time. It's unlikely.
As we always say, it's not impossible, but it's highly improbable.
Has to be now. Cancelo clears. Christensen forward. Garrido, nice turn inside, looking for Dembele, but that's cleared by Pavard. And the time ticks further down. Tell will be reprimanded for that one. But anything to break up the play. An inch Bayern. Closer and closer to that final. Dembele almost through, but again, cleared by Mestre. A masterful performance. And what an ace up your sleeve to send out third. The man who won his quarter-final match, 5-1. Dembele heads it down to Lewandowski. Oh,
great finish.
Okay.
Great finish.
Now hang on a minute. Still time on the clock here. That is some finish by Lewandowski. But importantly, there's still time on the clock here, Wes.
Thunderous
for
finish.
For it to mean something. Still
Absolutely.
time.
Absolutely, but they need to regain the ball from kickoff, and they need to hope that Bayern don't close this out completely. It's a wonderful finish. It's a dipping strike. Goes straight into the back of the net. And they may not be going down without a fight, but they are going to have limited availability of this ball upon restart.
So you're saying there's a chance. Christensen wins the ball back. 90th minute now. Balde going forward. Surely not. 4 minutes added on. Pavard wins a throw in for Bayern. Valuable seconds off the clock. Can't afford to mess this one up. Up the line from Pavard. 2 minutes remain. Barcelona's season on a knife edge. Lewandowski down to Pedri. Final minute has to be now for Barca. Garrido, Dembele. Here's Fati, still alive. Lewandowski is cleared, and Bayern Munich are our first eFootball Championship Pro 2023 finalists. In unbelievable fashion, from one game down, they had to win the next two. And they did just that. Marvellous from Mestre. Unbelievable from Bayern. And what do you say? Our first seeded team, our league winners of the regular season, out in the semi-finals. The MVP season comes to an end. But Bayern survive, Bayern move on. And the Bavarians, they're starting to believe. It was close at the end, but in the end, the 2 goals, that the second from Mestre, Semra, were enough to hang on and weather the late storm from the Palmer. And Bayern München, they are now our first finalists.
I tell you what, I've noticed some themes across the day. One is that every single game too so far has gone to extra time, or penalties earlier as we saw, but at the very least extra time. Another theme is that history is repeating itself. In the case of FC Barcelona, they've been eliminated by the same club as last season, but one stage later on, they were eliminated in the quarterfinals against the Germans. And this time, history repeats itself again in that the Bavarians are now in the final for the second year running, 2 times on the bounce. Obviously, they'll be looking to rectify what happened last time out against AS Monaco when they lost and finished up second best. But you can see what this result means to them. And I tell you what as well, Harry, that changing kit has obviously done something for them as well. It's worked a trick for today. But we'll talk about that later on because Wes is now with Jose, I believe as it is. And he's in the mix zone. We can get some of his initial reaction to being our first finalist of the day.
Thanks very much, guys. I am here with Jose. Congratulations. eFootball Championship Pro finalists. We saw what it meant to you, but tell us how it feels.
Well, it's like a dream came true because we have worked a lot. Really, when it's a lot, it's a lot. And I think it's really deserved because I have an amazing teammates, not about the level, also in personal terms. So I'm really happy to reach the final and we will give our best.
Yeah, and a lot, as we mentioned on commentary, a lot was made of the rivalry with Barcelona that seems to have kind of developed. But I want to stick more so to what it means to Bayern Munich in terms of the club setup, in terms of the people you have here today. What does it mean for you to get to the final with this batch of teammates, with that almost conglomerate that we see on the stage now?
Well, we are really happy for all the people it's supporting us and the other side. It seems it's not really happy for most of them because we listen every sounds from the pitch, but it's like the regular league where we are alone, but we are together and we are strong because this. GG also for Barcelona, they have the MVP of the regular league, really deserved. He was the best. He won the regular league title, and I think the best team it wins. It's also helped because they have the best in-game squad, but I think there are some attitudes outside the pitch that it's not good. I think there are a lot of players that it's not respecting us, and we are really happy to show everyone why we are a part of Bayern and why we are on the final. So yeah, we are really happy because of this.
Well, you talk about the respect level, certainly that it's certainly felt throughout the studio in terms of that respect. We saw a couple of pointed celebrations. Hopefully we'll see a little bit more of that in the final, of course. You now have the opportunity to play either against Manchester United or AC Milan. Do you feel that type of result against the league leaders, do you think that is a confidence boost going into the final?
Well, here it's really difficult every game. We saw it also with Roma. They are in quarterfinal, but it was a close game. Now it's Milan against Manchester United. Manchester United is in a really good shape. They have an awesome squad. They have really skilled players. So GG for the best. Good luck and see you in the final. We are waiting for. That's the good point. And yeah, hopefully it will be a really good game. And I hope all the audience enjoy the good football.
Fantastic to hear. Well, again, congratulations to you and your team. Guys, back to you on the desk.